I love meeting people who live outside the box, and I have two friends from Portland who live here in Spain, and they are doing exactly that. And I would, of course, rather meet up with them in person, but given the COVID restrictions and the whole AAA debacle, I've had to settle for over Zoom. My first is Eunice Reyes, and she's in her early 30s, and she has a vegan food channel on YouTube called Rated V, and she's super fun. So check her out.
So yes, so I came here last fall in 2019. I guess it wasn't the last one, that was almost 2 years ago. I was kind of tired of doing the corporate retail job that I was doing. Like, I had worked for Nordstrom for years, and I got to the place where I didn't want to be in that area anymore. Like, I wanted to do something different. But then I started thinking, what if I could do a job like that, but for maybe a vegan food product or maybe vegan handbags? My passion and my profession will align a little more. But I was kind of like, oh, what do I want to do? And if I switch to a different company, then I won't have any vacation time anymore, because I worked for Nordstrom for 9 years. And because I worked for 9 years, I had 3 weeks of PTO for the whole year, which in Europe, I don't know if you're familiar, in Europe, people are like, what? Yeah. When you tell them that, because they start with 4 weeks.
Yeah.
No matter what job you have, you get 4 weeks of vacation. I was like, is that real life? I finished off paying all my debt in Seattle. I had no student loan debt anymore. I finished paying that off.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I had started my channel as like a hobby of like filming vegan food in restaurants around Seattle. I was single at the time. So I was like, I don't know. I was just ready for something new, knowing that if I left to a different company, I would be starting from zero again. So I was like, what do I do? And then a friend of mine, she told me, she's like, hey, I'm applying for this English teaching position in Spain. You're going to be an assistant English teacher. So you don't even have to have an English teaching certificate. You just help speak English with your native English accent and help play games with the kids at school. And you only work 16 hours a week max. And I was like, okay. And they pay you a monthly stipend. They don't pay you a lot, but they pay you enough to where you can survive for sure. And so I was like, oh my gosh, am I gonna quit my secure, corporate job to go and maybe live like a college student? And I was like, you know what? It's worth it. It'll be worth it, because when else am I gonna have the opportunity to just leave and work on hobbies, explore what I want to do, travel, etc. And so I took it. I just went for it, because you know what? The experience is worth it. I can always go back and get a corporate job if I really want to,
So are you here on then like a work visa? Is that through the school?
So I'm here on a student visa, technically, because the Conselleria pays it's almost like a grant. So it's almost like grant scholarship money kind of. That's how our stipend is paid. So because they pay it that way, we're considered students technically. So they give us a student visa, and so right now it's a temporary one. So I think I still haven't picked it up. It was a 7-week. I finally got an appointment, because to get an appointment, that took about 3 months. That took forever. It was like daily checking. Okay, is there an appointment for today? And you would just get the default no appointment schedule. Check back later. I had to go to the town to Segundo, which is 30 minutes up north by train to get my appointment, because it's still technically within Valencia. Yeah, I had to.
The municipality. Yeah, that's what I've heard, is that sometimes these appointments to kind of get through this bureaucratic stuff is not even in the same town or municipality necessarily. So you are technically working 16 hours a week.
Yes. So working 15. I'm working 15. I work Tuesday through Thursday from 9 to 2. And then, it's like, I'm really taking the most of this opportunity, of just not, if I can't travel, fine. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Should I, starting a website, or starting my freebie for email subscription, or something, all these little things that I never dedicated too much time to, because I always wanted to be like, yeah, let's go travel, let's go
right,
dancing, let's go do this. And now I'm like, I have none of that anymore. So
So now you're building the foundation, right? I mean, do you want to stay in Spain, do you think? Like Spain versus the United States, or Europe versus the United States? What's
yeah,
on your
well, there's
mind?
definitely some perks that Europe has versus the States. And there's definitely some perks that Valencia in particular has, especially because it's sunny and it's nice. I just went on a walk on the beach just now. You know, it's like 70 degrees right now. You know, it's January. You know what I mean? Like there's just, yeah, there's little things like that I'm like, I'm going to take advantage of this every day I can. But during the summer, I met someone in Portland, in Seattle. So now I have a boyfriend. And so I'm like, okay, I have a reason to come home now.
Oh, that does complicate things.
Yeah, just a little bit, you know.
Okay, so you also have to apply for residency here.
Yeah, so I had, well, for my temporary T, they call it a TIE card.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had the appointment in December, and then I'm supposed to pick it up in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Wow. Congratulations. Did you go through that whole process yourself?
Yeah, so the first year, it's easier to renew rather than the second time around. The first time around is more complicated because you need certain paperwork from the US to bring with you. And you need fingerprints, you need an apostille letter. I think it's because also I was working with school and students, so they needed all this stuff. But if you're renewing, it's easy. You just need to make the appointment and take your acceptance letter, be like, this is my job, you know, and you already have your NIE number and everything.
If the boyfriend wasn't in the picture, then you think you would probably stay. Once you have residency, then you're pretty set.
If the boyfriend didn't exist, I did consider it about staying here, but I don't think I didn't want to renew the program again. I would have wanted to stay here, either doing something else or move to a different country completely, just to, explore more.
Just to try.
But but if I had the money, I definitely would want to buy like an apartment here, kind of like a getaway place, to like a second home.
Oh yeah.
The properties here are really, compared to the US, it's amazing what you can buy here.
Yeah. It's so true. So I'm curious, a lot of people are interested in the cost of living here. And I think that just from everything that I've seen on Numbeo, the cost comparison website, where you can plug in a city at, like, say, Portland, right, wherever you're from. And then you can plug in another city and it'll give you kind of cost comparisons for kind of daily and monthly expenses. And so I think that northern Spain tends to be more expensive than southern Spain. So do you follow a budget? Would you say that you have a pretty accurate idea of what a month for a single person in Valencia costs?
So my monthly stipend that they give you at the school is 1,000 euros a month.
Okay.
So, initially you think of, compared to a corporate salary, you think 1,000 euros a month.
Yeah.
But you can find a room here for under 400, including all expenses. And they're usually all furnished most of the time, so you don't have to buy furniture. So if you're looking for temporary, it's definitely doable. And then that gives you 600 euros to do, food or whatever, and you just budget correctly. And I can do quite a bit with that, like it's, especially if you don't have additional bills to pay. Yeah. My phone bill is 20 euros a month, and that's for 20 gigs of data, and an international call. Like, it works in all these different countries, and it's pay as you go. So there's no contract. So that's a nice thing. Food here is not expensive. Yeah. As you've seen. Wine is not expensive. Wine's cheaper than water.
It's so cheap. But it is shocking just the difference in expense to live here versus the United States, particularly in Portland or Seattle, right? The future is a little unknown for you as well. How are you managing the uncertainty or the unknowns? Because we all handle it a little bit differently. I'm in exactly the same position.
Well, there's definitely been times I just stop. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? There has been those moments, but I think that's happened to everyone. You know, definitely this has been like, oh my gosh, because your routine is completely thrown off, or whatever you had planned is thrown off. But then that's also a reminder that sometimes you can't plan. You have to just live in like embrace the moment and the opportunity, see the positive opportunities that you have right in front of you. Because if you focus completely on everything you don't have, you're never going to accomplish anything, right? Yeah, at this rate, I'm not planning anything more than a week in advance. Right now, for example, Spain's restrictions are until February 15th, at least for Valencia. Do I believe that? No. Do I think it's going to be extended? Probably. So maybe by April, things will get, you know, better and back to normal. And so I don't know. Until then, trying to evolve, like really focus on how I want my channel to evolve, because there's been this whole period of time that I've had my channel, it's just been evolving, you know. And it's nice when you're starting because you can play around with it. There's like no pressure to, you know, change things up a bit, because people are getting to know you and you're getting to know how you want to take it, or what works, what doesn't work. And so it's starting to focus more on like telling stories involving, you know, vegan food is obviously the main theme, but telling the stories behind it. For example, I just filmed a girl who, because of COVID, she was furloughed at her job. She ended up creating vegan chocolate spreads. So I went and filmed her yesterday, and she's telling her story about how she created that. It's helped me start to be like, okay, I think I like this idea of telling stories. I'm going to jot this down, trying to like focus on what I want to do when I go back to the US. Like you said, it's creating a foundation for yourself, learning skills, things that'll help you, you know, no matter when. So I think that's kind of what I'm doing.
And sometimes you don't know, right? Yeah, totally. Yeah. Keep the blinders on and say, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
And not look around too much, and definitely don't compare, and, you know, just stay focused. I think I really love your channel. When I think about your channel, I think about it's colorful. It's really passionate. Yeah. Because you are clearly very passionate about food, for one, and about vegan food.
Yeah.
And you know, you make them short and sweet. And I really love this new turn that it's taking. We always want to evolve, you know what I mean? And we always want our lives, right, to change and to deepen and to find different layers or find different avenues, right? And that's exactly actually what the both of us are doing. It's been really fun to follow your journey.
I do want to hear about your channel though, and how everything, like you just started when you went to Spain, right?
Yeah, like just before. So I'm taking all of the material of our trip, and I'm just using that as material to play with, to learn about video editing. And I gave myself a goal of making 35 videos, because I don't know, some YouTube guy said, you got to make at least 35 videos. And I was like, okay.
I've heard that too, because I've watched a lot of stuff. And so they say if you want to grow it, you have to commit to at least one video a week, which can be a lot, depending on what kind of style. It can be really stressful, or it can be like, you know, like it can be manageable.
Yeah.
But the 35 video thing, that comes from because technically the algorithm doesn't tend to start really analyzing your channel or pushing it out or classifying it until around 35 to 50 videos.
Oh, okay. So there's a reason for it. Well, I was using that number as, if I'm not having fun by 35 videos, then I don't think this is going to be for me.
It's hard. YouTubers make it look so easy. I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah, it takes a lot of work. A lot of work. And you have to have fun though. That's the thing. I'm still at this because I still like the idea. Like I still have a goal of where I want to go, and I'm still enjoying what I'm doing.
Now I actually feel like, oh, I kind of know what I'm doing, even though anytime I'm filming anything, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. But once I kind of start to put it together, I'm like, oh, okay, we can put that together and cut this. And so, but still, the one thing that I haven't gotten over yet is the public filming. You know what I mean? Like filming at a restaurant or filming at the grocery store myself, right? Like I can film everything else.
Oh my God, Stacey, you don't even, that part is hard. I was last February, I was in Milan for Valentine's Day, and I was by myself. And because it was just a weekend trip. And I think it was just so funny because I wanted to film this restaurant and I realized it was Valentine's Day dinner. And I was at the restaurant. Everybody had someone in front of me, in front of them. I had a freaking camera in front of me. I was eating Valentine's Day dinner by myself with a freaking camera. I was like, wow. I was like, how far have I come?
That takes a lot of courage. But that's what people want to see. They want to see that courage. And you make it look so natural.
You know what I attribute to this? I actually attribute the courage and the getting over your fears to dancing, to salsa dancing. If you want to improve in dancing, you have to get over yourself and screw up in public.
Oh man. Oh,
and so
totally. Yeah. It looks like you're just having a great time and really making the most of it. So it'll be a time that, you will never forget and you won't regret. I'm certain of it.
Exactly. But yes, we'll keep in touch. Hopefully if these borders open up, we'll have to meet up somewhere.
That sounds good. Yeah, that sounds great. Okay, Eunice. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.